Hello, it is Foundation Friday, April 3rd, 2020. Steve Sipress here with another in our multi-part series on the great book by John Paul Getty, How to Be Rich, written near the end of his life when he was the richest man on earth. And I dare say there's a lot of reasons why, and he puts a lot of them into this book. Toby is here, good seeing you. And last Foundation Friday, we talked about the businessman at bay. Perfect chapter for this unprecedented economic shutdown that our leaders have decided to completely trash the economy. And now businesses are at bay, under pressure, all over the place. Well, here's another incredible, appropriate topic. The very next chapter, Getty calls the imp of the impossible. So let's go through this and pay attention. He's got some very important questions to ask in here. So he starts out by saying that good judgment and imaginative foresight are two qualities which working together can make the, quote, impossible possible. The valuable habits of healthy skepticism and individual confidence can and often do help a determined individual refute the discouragement of the crowd. And boy, is the crowd discouraged right now. I'd say at least probably 90% of employees and at least 80% or maybe even 90% of business owners are operating out of fear and panic right now. And this was written over 50 years ago. Very appropriate today. A business person must develop the ability to rationally and knowledgeably reach decisions and then go ahead regardless of the, quote, impossibility of his or her goal. Let's skip ahead a few pages, doing this with one hand as usual. Getty then says, you've heard the saying, nothing is impossible. In my opinion, that is sheer nonsense, and I flatly reject the theory. It is my opinion, and it has been my experience, that there are vast numbers of things which are impossible, and that one is very likely to encounter them frequently in the business world. I firmly believe that one of the most valuable assets that any business owner, entrepreneur, business person can possess is the ability to study and weigh all the factors in a given situation and determine what is feasible and what is not. In short, to distinguish between the possible and the impossible. The practice of biting off more than he can properly chew will certainly prove calamitous to any business person's career and business. So you can't get all pie in the sky and think nothing is impossible. I'm just going to continue operating my business like I always did. See, because it's possible to do that. No, you got to understand it is not. By the way, in case I forget, you can head over to the new website I just put up, profitfromchaos.com, if you want to discover all kinds of ways to profit from the chaos that's going on all around us. I got a free report there called How to Profit from Chaos. Go get it, it's free. You got to give me your email address so I can know where to send it, and then you can cancel out of any future emails I want if you want. So that's the price to pay. Let me know where to send it, and let me know that I have permission to follow up and let you know some more good stuff and ideas. And you can join my private Facebook group, Profit of Chaos, and all kinds of good stuff. Anyway. But the converse is equally true, for the imp of the impossible is a perverse demon. The individual who is able to perceive the glint of the possible in a situation which outwardly appears to be fraught with insuperable obstacles. Insuperable. I was going to say I've never heard that word before, but I've read this book. You can see by the worn out creases all over the place in this thing. I've read this at least 20 times, so I guess I have heard of it. Insuperable obstacles. The individual who can perceive the glint of the possible in a situation which outwardly appears to be fraught with insuperable obstacles is the most likely to reap the richest rewards. And that, dear viewer, listener, reader, describes the times we are living in right now during this unprecedented economic shutdown. The virus, not unprecedented at all, despite what the fearmongers want to tell you. All the facts are pointing to it's just another flu virus, whatever they call these things that come along all the time. But the economic reaction to this, the shutdown like the entire world, all countries and stuff, that's just ridiculous. So that's a crazy obstacle. However, when everyone says, see, so, everyone's in trouble and, hopefully the government a new program came out today to cover your paychecks and you got to spend 75% on your payroll, but you can also pay utilities, rent, mortgage, whatever. Like, see, I need the government to bail me out. It's not enough money. Give me some more. Everyone's talking about the problem. The death count. It reached, I don't know, a few thousand, 5 or 10,000. Like, you're kidding me. Like, more people die every weekend in car accidents than that. Like, cancer kills over 1 million people every year. Anyway, back to J. Paul Getty. One does not have to look very far to find proof of this. And then he tells a whole bunch of stories. And Getty himself is famous for making an absolute spectacular killing during the Great Depression. That's where he vaulted from, just another business owner to the stratosphere of one of the wealthiest people on earth. Took advantage of the opportunity, just like you can right now. And Sid is here. Good seeing you. The annals of American business have always been replete with such examples which prove that business people can achieve notable success by discerning the possibility of things which others consider impossible. The most significant inventions and advancements have been made, and the most successful businesses and largest fortunes have been created in precisely this way, including, as I just said, his. And he tells those stories. He tells them earlier in the book as well. You can do a search. I was going to say go to the library and look it up in the encyclopedia. Dating myself. That's what you had to do at the time he wrote this book in the 60s. Now you can just look it up on a computer or on your phone or whatever. All the top business people I know have made their biggest strides up the success ladder because they were able to see the possible in what others rejected or ignored as the impossible. In other words, you make lemons out of lemonade. Now is the time to position yourself and your business for the greatest period of success you'll ever see, the greatest opportunity to have success that you'll ever see likely in our lifetime. The point I'm driving at, says Getty, is that the successful business owner is the one who makes the right choice between the possible and the impossible more often than not. A great deal of careful thought and consideration goes into resolving the problem of the possible versus the impossible. So, when you're confronted by the perverse imp of the impossible, the veteran business owner organizes his or her thinking and examines all aspects of the situation with meticulous objectivity. In other words, get all the fear and all the emotions, and I'm scared and I'm petrified and I don't know what to do. Get all that out of it and examine this with meticulous objectivity. And by the way, it's very difficult to do, to examine our own situation with meticulous objectivity. I've been on the phone I have a couple of coaches more often than, of course, during the boom time we just experienced for the last 3 years because things were going great. Now, man, it's tough to see sometimes when you're in the midst of things. So make sure you have a mentor, coach, consultant, mastermind group, peers, whatever it is. I say peers only if you're mega successful. If you're not really mega successful and your peers are also, they're not the people to help you out here likely. But that's a key, I was going to say strategy, but it's a key, whatever. You got to know how to look at situations with objectivity. Very tough to do when you're inside of it. Skill. It's a key skill to have, but it's very tough on your own. So you want to bounce things off somebody else, have them look at your situation. They can look at it objectively, very likely much more than you can if you're being consumed by fear these days. The business person does this by asking a series of questions of him or herself, the most important of which follow. Here we go. What precisely and in detail is the situation, proposition, or issue under consideration? Precisely and in detail. That, again, objectively, sit down, write it out. Not just sit there and go, uh-oh, what am I going to do, and move on. Number 2, what is at stake? What are the costs? What are the minimum and maximum the company stands to gain and lose? Number 3, are there any precedents? And if so, can they be considered valid and applicable in this instance? I'm telling you, I've lived through a whole bunch of downturns, and there are precedents. I just mentioned, and Getty is one of them, made his fortune in the Depression. Now is the time, people. Are there any precedents? Okay, what do other parties, buyers or sellers, brokers, competitors, customers, etc., stand to gain or lose either way? Think about all the parties in detail. Write it out. Spend some time on this. Now it's the weekend. You got real good timing to sit down and go through this stuff. What are the known obstacles and difficulties the company faces if it goes ahead, and precisely how can they be overcome? Again, precisely. Make a list. Write it out. Ask for advice from a trusted source. What other difficulties are likely to arise? In other words, the unforeseen obstacles and difficulties. And if they do, what resources are available and what steps may be taken to cope with them? Are all the facts known? Could there be any additional hidden pitfalls? If anyone knows all the facts, it ain't anyone you ever see on the news. No one certainly ever see at social media. Not anyone you see up in front of the podium, in front of the audience, telling you, because the statistics and the research and the opinions change every twice a day, 3 times a day. Oh, we got this. We got plenty of tests. Oh, no, we don't. Oh, wait, we got a shortage of ventilators here in New York. I demand you send them. Well, they're there in a warehouse. Well, they're going to stay in the warehouse because we don't need them. I don't know. Do you need them? Do you not need them? Were you fantastic taking care of this thing? Were you slow to react to the thing? Is it going to kill a lot of people, a little people? Is it incredibly now they're back on the it's incredibly contagious nonsense, even though all the facts point to no, it's not. I still haven't heard that every single person on the Tom Hanks movie set in Australia came down with the coronavirus. So no, it is not wildly contagious, but the opinions change every day. So there will be additional hidden pitfalls, and maybe start thinking of some of them. Make a list. How long will it take to accomplish the objectives or goals in question if it is decided to proceed? Will the company stand to gain more by devoting equal time and effort to something else? Now that's a pivotal question right now. To running your business and thinking you're going to run it the same way once this downturn ends as you did before, or will the company stand to gain more by devoting your time and effort to something else? And I'm going to tell you, and if you go to profitfromchaos.com, you'll find out real quick, something else is the answer, more times than not. Are the personnel who would be responsible for handling the matter fully qualified and dependable? So that's just some of the questions to ask. And my beautiful wife Michelle is here, honey. I am coming to watch a movie. Another long day of taking full advantage of this opportunity out there, working on all kinds of projects. And he finishes off the chapter with this, and finishes off part 2 of the book. We'll move to part 3 next Foundation Friday. So he finished it off with this quote: "In business as in chess, the final choice always and inevitably depends on the most important of all factors in any situation." The most important of all factors in any business situation, the judgment of the individual concerned. So the question, possible or impossible, when you are in business, it's up to you to decide. With help from J. Paul Getty. Get some help from me too. Go to helpfromsteve.com. You want to talk it over. You want to get some help. And please go to profitfromchaos.com. Get that free report. You get an invitation to my private Facebook group where we're all working together to share examples and bounce ideas off each other and help each other to be creative, forward-thinking, and to capitalize. And what is, mark my words, the most immense, massive opportunity for any business owner or entrepreneur